Welcome to Church Jams Now, the podcast where three former youth group kids and current music nerds deep dive into Christian music from the 90s and 2000s. I, of course, am your co-host, Kylan Savage, and with me, as always, is Mr. TJ Smith.
No, I'm Hawkboy.
Hold on, your audio broke up?
What?
And all I heard was a, yep.
I'm
Did you hear that, Josh? Was that the same for you?
Yes, exactly the same. I still can't hear you, TJ.
I said I'm Hawkboy.
TJ. Oh, what keeps happening? TJ, I can't hear you.
Grab.
I said I'm Hawkboy.
Oh. Your audio broke up so perfectly.
It was just you being like,
yep.
Well, that'll be fun for the listeners.
off to a great start.
Isaac
No,
Horowitz turned me into a hawk.
Call back.
And of course, we have our beautiful producer, Josh Olson.
Hey guys, happy to be back.
We are on episode 4 out of 5 of our As Cities Burn miniseries. And we said at the very, very, very beginning of this miniseries that by the time you listeners heard this, we will have come up with a very clever name.
I don't know why
for
we
it.
said that.
I don't either, but...
Because we keep not having anything good.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you guys. You've had plenty of time, so here's the time to resubmit our pitches for the name of the miniseries.
Ooh, I got it.
Okay?
As Series Burn.
Oh, that's not bad.
A mini cities.
A mini.
Yeah?
Well, I think that's it.
You like it?
I think that's it.
You heard it here first, folks. Live on air.
Yep.
Hawkboy.
As Series Burns.
TJ did it. Wow. You put him on the spot
All right.
and he delivered.
He did, man.
Sometimes
I'm
that
very
happens.
Surprised.
Not often.
So we have covered so far Son, I Loved You at Your Darkest, Come Now Sleep, and Hell or High Water. For the listener, I don't know if I talked about this in the beginning of the last episode. I was talking to TJ about this before we started recording and before you were here, Josh. I have to admit, part of the reason why, if you notice, I kind of pause every single time before I say Hell or High Water is because my wife and I's record that we've been working on is called High Water or Hell, which obviously is that common phrase flipped. We've been living with that record for over 2 years now,
Yep.
to the point where that's become so familiar that
It's
it
stuck in
feels
your head.
weird to me to hear it how it's supposed to be. So every time I'm talking about As Cities Burn and that record comes up, there's like a 10-second delay in my brain of like,
Did I
is
say
this
it
right?
right?
Am I being dyslexic? Like, I need to make sure I get this right. So, and I've
Yep.
gotten it right every time.
Yeah, you have. As we've been talking about it in our text chains or whatever, it's getting me because I normally, when we're talking about your record, I normally just talking about like HWOH. But with
Right,
ACB,
right.
it's HOHW. So that's, I'm like, do I have those switch? Like, yeah. So
I know,
it's been
it's
affecting me
confusing.
too.
So yeah, we're just going to continue on doing our super typical thing, right, guys? We're doing the next As Cities Burn record.
Yep.
I'm
No
Hawkboy.
way. What was that?
That's Patreon Bot's brother. Hawkboy, what are you doing here? I'm gonna force you into doing a bit for the rest of this episode.
Trying to throw things off track as much as I can.
I love it. You sound like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon. Where are you from, Hawkboy?
Nevada. The whole state.
Just Nevada. All
He's
right.
flying
I
around,
fly
you know?
around.
Yeah, he's flying around. It's the whole state is his home.
Okay.
So good.
Yeah, so we're talking about Hawkboy today, if you didn't surmise by whatever nonsense we're doing. Okay, I know I keep saying it, but doing a part A after a part B is always really weird.
It's true.
Get used to it.
Yep.
I think we should kick it to Josh.
Yep. I
I'll
keep
take
trying
it.
to.
I'll gladly take it. I was waiting for the
I keep
hand the baton.
trying. I keep
Take the
attempting
torch,
to.
my
Hand the
man.
baton.
Take it. It's yours.
All right. So we'll get into our research on Hawkboy. As we've been going through just changing the members, we saw with each record they're kind of dwindling a little bit more and a little bit more. We've now officially reached the stage where Hawkboy is just Cody and Aaron. Cody Bonnette on guitar, bass, and vocals, and Aaron Lunsford on drums and percussion. It's just them two. We talked about that. That was like, you saw that happening during the Hell or High Water sessions. They
Right.
still had Christopher Lott playing guitar, but I think a lot of that music came from just Cody and Aaron jamming together. I would assume. I wasn't there. I can't say, but that's
probably
what
a
it
good bit of
feels like.
input from Tyler too. I would imagine. Like
Tyler Orr, the producer. Yeah.
Tyler Orr.
Well,
high water.
Tyler Orr, High Water. Yep. So we're covering Hawkboy. There are 2 EPs that they did in 2011. Now, caveat is that the EPs are not currently available on streaming. You can find them on SoundCloud and YouTube. I'm not saying anything, but if you happen to email or DM us, maybe a link to a folder that contains some hi-fi rips and wave or AACs will make their way to you. Not saying
Here.
it'll be these Hawkboy EPs. It could be Kylan's record. I don't know. But
It could be Amy Grant's Christmas record.
yeah. Or it could be Kylan's High Water or Hell
Spin
record.
the wheel. See where you
But
land.
I mean,
That could be
It's the
really
wheel
fun. Let's do
of
that. Let's flip a coin.
Churches
Everyone that
now.
messages us, you might get high quality Hawkboy ribs, or you may get a bunch of bullshit I recorded over the last 3 years.
it could be fun. But yeah, I've got the CDs of them. So I have
They're so
hi-fi
pretty.
rips. They are so pretty. It's okay. Lunsford and I have an understanding about it. So
That's
Oh,
good.
good.
I messaged, they did like a Instagram, like little ask box a while ago. And I asked, I was like, are you going to put the Hawkboy stuff up? He's like, when you get the masters, you can put them up, which is typical Lunsford snarky. So I'm like, okay, fine, whatever, man. But I do have some, I don't have the masters, but I got some hi-fi rips if you need them. So
All right.
Sweet.
Lunsford were cool. But let's talk about the actual EPs themselves. So the first Hawkboy is just self-titled. Hawkboy EP was released on June 7th of 2011. At the time of this recording, it's 11 years old. It will be 12 in June. It was released on the label Regenerate Music Company. It was produced by Tyler Orr, who has been pretty involved in their whole discography, but he was the lead producer on Hell or High Water. I almost said High Water or Hell. Dang it, Kylan.
See?
Yep, you
It's
got me.
infectious.
It's hard.
I remember buying this on iTunes when it came out, and it was originally a 4-song EP, but the CD and vinyl versions have an extra song called Irate Blues, which is a re-recording of Pirate Blues from Hell or High Water. It's the Hawkboy version of it.
Just a lot less pee.
Yep, a lot less being that
Way
pirate.
less pee.
And then the second EP that we'll be covering is their follow-up, King Folly EP, which was released November 15th, 2011. So, I mean, you got 5-6 months gap between when they got these 2 EPs done.
Fair.
In 2011 as well. Same Regenerate Music Co. This one was produced by Matt Goldman, who produced their first 2 records, though.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's a little bit difference there.
So, can we talk about why Hawkboy is not available anywhere? I mean, they got some big names behind it.
I have no idea
It's-
because they were on streaming. Like you can, if you Google Hawkboy, like you can find where the link takes you to the Spotify landing page, but just they aren't available. And like I bought them on iTunes originally, and they're not on
Right.
iTunes anymore either.
I
And,
think
like,
it's
Regenerate
because
Music
not
Co-
enough people made a ruckus. We got to make some noise.
I feel like that's just the perfect time to put them out there. And like,
Yeah.
we'll talk about the other 2 ACB songs we're talking about this episode. Those aren't on streaming either. But I don't know why they're not out there. Like Lunsford snarkily replied, maybe they don't have the masters to them, and so they don't. But
Yeah.
surely someone has them.
But who
Goldman's
does?
gotta have them.
Let's find out.
Matt
Yeah,
Goldman.
really.
We're going to
Come
turn
save
into a
us.
serial style podcast. And this is
Investigative
actually going to turn into
podcast.
a 14 episode
Perfect.
true crime deep dive into who owns the masters for
The mystery
How can we
of the
get
masters.
them back online for everyone to listen to? Yes.
I stole
That'd be
my
great.
Hawkboy.
He took him to Nevada.
You're in the nest.
Oh my god.
Keeping my chicks warm.
Hawkboy, get out of here. Stop with your shenanigans.
And then, okay, so do we also want to talk about, we're also going to tack on, so we're mainly focusing on Hawkboy, but in 2015, As Cities Burn recorded and released 2 additional songs. They don't really have, they just are singles under their names on Bandcamp. That's where you can find them. They're still there, so go out to Bandcamp and buy them, support the band. But the 2 songs that they released are Prince of Planet Earth and Gold Mine, which were released October 18th of 2015, which they're 7 years old, turning 8 in October. These are the first ACB songs that we had since 2009, and the first with TJ since 2005.
Wow.
They're produced by Jay Hall, who I don't know who that is. But I also want to add another impetus to this serial that we will not only get the Hawkboy songs and these singles on streaming, but everyone out there pester ACB to press these to like a 7-inch, because I messaged them the other day. I was like, guys, you know this would sell out. Like, do it. Like, I don't know why.
Please.
Like, because all the old stuff that was on Tooth and Nail is owned by Capital Christian now, because Tooth and Nail had to sell the master, so they don't have any of that. They don't make any money on that when you buy the record. But they should still own all the masters and rights to these songs. So there's no reason why they can't just make pressings of them and put them on streaming.
Yeah.
Who knows?
We got to make it happen.
All right.
Yep. So that wraps up
So,
my
okay.
stuff. What do y'all remember about Hawkboy? And
Okay, I have a vague memory. TJ, did you opened for Hawkboy, right?
I think so.
I'm like, that's like my clearest memory of Hawkboy at the door in Dallas.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Did you guys
sure.
open for
We
Hawkboy?
either opened for them that show or I went to that show. I know what show you're talking about.
I think you
For some
opened
reason,
for
I
them.
have no memory of whether I was on stage or in the audience.
I'm pretty sure you guys opened for, like, you and John.
Probably.
Lonely Bones opened for Hawkboy. Because that was like my.
did y'all do it as a 2-piece? Was Kat there?
It was probably the 2-piece, and it was probably just like,
Wow, a 2-piece opening for a 2-piece.
yeah. Just like we did with Children 18-3 later, where Kat was with us, and we were a 3-piece with a chick bassist, and they were a
Opening for
3-piece.
3-piece with a
Like-
chick bassist.
Punk rock
Because
band,
that was that was my introduction to Hawkboy, was you, TJ.
Oh, nice. Right on, man.
Because I was like, wait, what is this? And you're like, no, it's
It's not
basically
As Cities
As
Burn.
Cities Burn. And I remember I listened to that first EP a ton for that first year, like 2011. I don't know the second EP at all.
Oh, King Folly's
nice.
great. That'll be
Yeah,
fun.
I don't know it.
Can't wait.
at all. I don't know
to
a
hear
single
you.
song from it. So I'm really excited to dig into it. But yeah, I have not a whole lot of context.
Yeah, I kind of get it mixed up with his, because he did like for a brief stint, he did like a tour called Hello High Water. Do y'all know about this?
Ah, clever.
No.
And it was just him, and like I think maybe a buddy played other instruments with him, like, but it was a very just like stripped down styled tour, like coffee shops and bedrooms and things like that, I think. And I went to one of those shows, and so it's hard for me to separate, because it was toward the tail end of like the Hell or High Water era, so it's hard for me to separate his Hello High Water tour with like the beginning of Hawkboy and those songs, because I think he might have even been playing, I could be wrong about this, but I think he might have even been playing some Hawkboy songs at that solo Hello High Water show that I went to. So it kind of all jumbles up for me, but I just remember thinking it was like a continued, like it was a sonic direction that he was going in that was like more indie rock, like more just like
Right.
unabashed the indie rock and less, the hard stuff. So I'm excited to dip back into these songs because I don't know that I've listened to them in a long time. But my experience with Hawkboy was very like vaguely wrapped up in the end of ACB and this solo tour. So it's all kind of nebulous, but good. Like I remembered
right,
loving both EPs when they came out and playing them a lot. I remember like riding in the car with Michael Brown and him being like, "Hey, this is good. I like this. What is this?" And like if
Well,
Michael says
Brown
something's
says
good,
it's good, then yeah.
it is. That's like a stamp of approval. Like you're going places. Which is why ACB came back and did another album. It's because
Yep,
Michael
all
said.
because of Michael Brown,
Yep.
who we have not had on as a guest in an egregious
Even though you recorded
oversight.
at his house
true.
recently.
I know. I'm gonna bug him.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, Josh. What about you? What's your deal with Hawkboy?
What's my deal?
Yeah.
Well, so like I got into ACB like in 2010. So this was like pretty soon after I was like freshly into ACB. They finished up or whatever. So I mean, I think I remember hearing about it either like around the time. I don't know if I like knew it when it happened, but like I think I remember just finding like late in the summer of 2011, like, oh, there's a new EP from Cody from ACB. I may have been through Kylan that I found out about it or something like that. That's how like I remember. So it was like pretty early on when that was happening. I did see them play. They were opening up for Emery when Emery was touring on their 2011 album. We do what we want. O Sleeper opened or was doing support, and then Hawkboy opened for them. So
Nice.
that was a great show. So it had to have been around that time too in the summer. But yeah, like TJ, you were talking about with Hell or High Water, like the like nostalgia rush that you felt listening to it. I know for sure I'm gonna get that with these Hawkboy EPs.
Oh, cool.
Because like this is one like I forget about them because they're not on streaming, and they're like I have them like on my phone and my computer, but I just don't. Like they're not in the front of my mind to like put in rotation.
Right.
So like I just forget about them from time to time. But yeah, in 2011, like I was jamming these like hard. Like you talked about the CFNI studio where you recorded Gates. Like I was doing an internship there, and like I just remember like I would just listen to these on the way to and from driving to that studio. So like
Nice.
I'm gonna put this in, and I'm gonna be back on like Pioneer Parkway driving east again.
Oh,
like
I know that drive.
yes, yes you do.
Huh.
So, but the only other cool thing that I want to mention is that Hawkboy, they did press a vinyl of both of the EPs in 2012, and this was actually one of the first vinyl I ever purchased.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
It
That's
wasn't the
cool.
first one, but it was one of the early ones. So I feel like that's like
You're a true fan.
my cred right there. Like,
Yep.
my
Absolutely.
first vinyl was Project 86, but I feel like this like evens it out to make it cooler.
TJ,
Sure.
what's the first vinyl record that you bought? This is an interesting tangent.
Yeah, we never
that we
talked
can
about
probably
this.
cut if we need to, but I know mine.
Yeah, what's yours? I'll have to
I bought
think about
for
that.
75 cents at a Goodwill. I bought a recording of John Williams conducting the British Philharmonic Orchestra performing the Star Wars soundtrack.
I knew that was it. I knew that one was
That
it. I
kinda
remember seeing
rules,
that at your
man.
house in Arkansas.
Yeah, dude.
That's
I
really
don't have
cool.
it anymore.
Oh no.
No, I sold it in like 2012 because I was broke as
Did you
shit.
make a
and
profit?
I'm really bummed. No, I sold it to Half Price Books.
For 50
Oof.
cents, you lost money on the
Probably,
deal.
yeah. I'm super bummed.
Dang. I think mine was like I'm pretty sure it was a Johnny Cash like hits record.
Nice.
Because I think that's all I had for a long time. And I never knew whether to be like, this is my record. Because I didn't want people to be like, oh, you're a big Johnny Cash fan? I don't know why. But at the time, I
You
remember
had to have a
thinking,
Johnny Cash record, I feel like.
yeah, it's kind of a rite of passage.
I do want to talk about, Kylan, do you know these two As Cities Burn songs?
No, I don't know them at all.
Have
I
you
was
ever
like-
heard them?
No, I have never
You've
heard them
never
in a day
heard
of my
them.
life.
All right. Did you
I
even
think
know
I've
they
only heard
existed?
them like once.
No, I
Alright.
mean, I may have vaguely been aware, but I was so like out of the fold of that.
Yeah, when 2015 rolled around.
Yeah, I was doing other things.
Well, because if you didn't even know what Hawkboy was, like, I don't even remember this, like me introducing you to them. But
Yeah, I'm pretty
It's
sure
like
you
if that-
opened for Hawkboy, and that was like my whole introduction. Like in my mind, that is it. So
let's go with that.
all right.
I'll have to ask John. 'Cause
John
he'll
won't
remember.
remember.
He said-
John doesn't
yeah, he
remember
said he
anything.
forgot everything.
He doesn't even
He
remember
says
meeting
that?
Josh and letting him borrow an amp.
Yeah.
He has a selectively great memory. So maybe this will be one of the things that he remembers really
All right,
vividly.
all right,
We'll see.
All right, let's hope so.
Yeah.
Guys, are we the first podcast to do like a full episode critical analysis dedicated to the band Hawkboy? I feel like we
hope
we're
so.
pioneers in a sense,
This is
right?
That'd be
Pretty
that'd be a
niche.
high honor. That's true.
I'm going to look.
And I
Surely
feel
that
like
can't
I feel
be.
like it's either going to do super well or there's going to be a worldwide collective shrug. Like who? But
Man,
who
there
cares?
is
As long
a
as we become
Hawkboy-
best friends with Cody after this.
Yeah,
then
for
I'm
sure.
Right.
Or Lunsford. Or Lunsford. I'll take
Both. Yeah, either.
Yeah,
is
yeah.
true.
all of them, you know? All of them.
I feel like though to be friends with Lunsford, like you just have to run into him while you're getting your oil changed. Like you can't talk about him online or meet him online in any way. You just have
Yep.
to like be at a Jiffy Lube and he is also there and be like, "Oh,
In person.
Hey, you were in this band, right?" And then you'll be best friends with him.
We can hope. So
All
let's
right,
all go to
guys.
Jiffy Lube like tomorrow. Everyone. Maybe we'll run into Aaron.
Yeah. Let's, Aaron, if you're getting your oil changed, let us know. The only stuff I'm finding here is we've got.
This episode brought to you by Jiffy Lube.
I wish I need an oil change. We've got stuff about the Iowa Hawkeyes. We've got stuff about Hawkeye, the comic book character, and we've got stuff about Tony Hawk. So,
Okay.
I can't find anything on Spotify about a podcast on Hawkboy.
All right.
The self-declared first. Probably a good idea.
Okay, so we're going to take a break. We're going to listen to Hawkboy plus some bonus As Cities Burn, and we'll be right back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail.
I'm Hawkboy.
2 shakes of a hawk's tail.
I work at Jiffy Lube.
Wings flap.
Gotta pay the bills somehow.
Oh, we lost TG.
Yeah.
Right as, every time he does the Hawkboy bit.
The mic does not like Hawkboy.
Right?
Your TJ does not like it. Your
not
TJ.
here.
Your computer. What am I
My
saying?
TJ.
What am I saying?
That's meta.
Pay no mind to my son. I am Hawkman.
The lore just grows and grows.
For there to be a Hawkboy, there must be a Hawkman.
There must be a Hawkman.
Screw you, Hawkman.
Boy, Hawkboy, you get... Oh, Jesus Christ. All right, we'll see y'all in a little bit.
He can't commit to the bit.
Welcome back to another episode of Trivial Trivia. This is a segment where I share obscure and trivial information related to the album or artist we're discussing each episode. This entire episode of CJN is almost dedicated to a side project, so let's just keep it going for Trivial Trivia. After Hawkboy, Cody got involved with ACB guitarist Christopher Lott to work on a project called Wall of Ears. They came out with an LP in 2013 titled Perfect Organ Assembly. I remember seeing it on sale on Undro's 2013 farewell tour, and the person at the merch table told me it was an experiment in making raw, live recordings where they even left in the mistakes. I didn't pick it up that day, and I've regretted it ever since. I had long since forgotten the name of the band, but I found it while preparing for the Hawkboy episode. There are a few LPs still available on Discogs and CDs available on the Wall of Ears Bandcamp page. You can find the record on streaming too, so definitely check it out and pick up a copy from Christopher. I will say, it is a pretty weird record though, at least the back half. It looks like Christopher has continued to use Wall of Ears as an outlet for his music, and his most recent record released under that name in 2021. That's it for this episode of Trivial Trivia. Let's get back to church jams now.
Hey, Jammers, we're going to interrupt your listening to talk about our Patreon a little bit because, it's 2023, new year, new bit. And our biggest bit has been restructuring our Patreon. We're super excited. And just like the last Patreon ad, the other guys are here. I don't know why they're being weirdly silent.
Sorry. I was updating Patreon bots firmware.
Oh, why? Why?
I was a little busy.
Is it because of the trivia night?
Yeah, because of trivia, like we need, hard and fast factual data to be ready to give the answers.
Processing power needs to be on point.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the whole thing is, so we're offering for our patrons a trivia night 4 times a year. We're going to do it quarterly. I don't know if I'm super comfortable with the fact that like Patreon bot will probably win because the winner is going to get like cool stuff.
No, he can't compete. He has to give the answers. He's
Oh my God.
yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry, man. I talked to him about this.
You did? What did he say?
He shut down for a while because he was very awkward, and that's what he does whenever he can't deal with like an awkward social situation.
Yeah, he
but
does
then when he
have
came back
social
online,
anxiety.
yeah, he does. But when he came back online, he said he totally understood, and he's happy to help. Do you want me to go get him? Like I can
Please,
find him if you-
please. Can you go get him for me?
Patreon bot, come here. Sorry, his operating system is still uploading. So
yeah,
give me.
no, he's got kind of a different vibe than he used to have.
For that new year, new firmware.
New year, new firmware.
Greetings, user Kylan and
Wow.
user Josh.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, okay.
Patreon bot, did you update your language program?
Yes, I'm vaguely European now.
Yeah, you sound a little Irish.
European.
No, I am more Scandinavian.
Okay. Well, how do you feel about our trivia night that we have coming up on March 15th?
I'm very excited about trivia night.
What can you tell us about the trivia night?
I can tell you that the answer is 3.145672891.
Okay, well, I can guarantee that that's
14.
not an answer to any of the trivia questions, but
Well, sorry, guys. Sorry. I got to do some more reprogramming for Patreon Bob before he's ready for trivia night. I am so sorry.
I think so,
Really,
man.
he's got some issues.
But guys, we have so many things to offer on our Patreon coming up this year. For just $2 a month, you get the show early and you get our monthly WCJN show where we talk about things that haven't quite made it on the full show. Josh did an episode on a very Jason Martin Christmas, and I did a sweet, sweet bass roundup of some of the sweetest bass that we have covered thus far on the show and kind of diving into why I love sweet, sweet bass. Yeah, we have our trivia night coming up. It's a live Zoom event that we're going to do. Anyone that's a patron can come and hang out and play some fun trivia with us. Patreon bot may or may not be there. We don't know yet. If we get his firmware updated in time.
Yeah.
Depends on the updates.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Yeah, so check us out at patreon.com/churchjamsnowpodcast. Is there anything else we need to talk about? Josh is yawning, so I think that's the end of the ad.
It's good. Sorry.
Our first official CJN of 2023. We've been faking it for far too long. We've been faking that it's 2023 since like October.
We faked it and we maked it.
That's right.
We're here.
Hawkboys assemble.
Remember me?
I really hope that's not how we start this part B. But I can guarantee now that I've brought it up. That's
I liked how that started off before.
We
I
will.
want to use that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Hawkboys assemble for part B. We're back, y'all.
Yeah, man.
We listened to a bunch of stuff. We got a bunch of stuff to cover on this episode.
Yeah. It's like a buffet.
Yeah.
Feels like a good old mishmash.
This is like our most mixed bag for a part B that we've done ever.
For sure.
That's
well,
true.
okay. Well, we talked about how, we've sort of figured out the numbers don't lie. Our listeners don't really love EP episodes.
But what
So-
if?
But what if we combine two EPs and
pretend
two
it's an album?
singles
And 2 singles.
and do it just like an album? Let's,
Is that
let's
better,
see.
guys?
Let's
Let us know,
Trick the
please.
metrics that way.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
goal of this episode.
Yep. Yeah, people like longer episodes, I guess. I don't know.
More content.
That's
Which,
right.
hey, tell Spotify that people are about LPs instead of EPs. Spotify's like, just make EPs, guys. But
Right.
the people want the LPs.
It's true.
It's very
These
true.
people do anyway.
So what are we doing, y'all?
We're hawking, boy.
We're I don't think we've talked about it, but in our Ass Cities Burn miniseries, in our Zoom calls, I've been naming all of the Zoom meetings. So there is, because we've been doing ACB 1, 2, 3, 4. So I had ACB 1, then ACB 2B or not to be,
I love that one.
ACB 3PO, and
So
then this
good.
one was ACB 4, Hawk Boys to Men.
You never thought you'd get a connection between Cody, Bonnette, and Boys to Men.
That's true. But here we are.
Only on Church Jams Now.
Only on. Yeah. And once again, I think this is, for better or for worse, I think this is people's only place to go for Hawkboy podcast content. So,
As far as we know.
so you know what? You get what you get. You don't throw a fit.
Boy, I
Let's
tell
just-
you, I'm not throwing a fit about this music. Not
Let's
to
just jump
play
right
my
into
hand.
it.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have, I was going to say, do we
Wow.
have any general thoughts kind of on this before we dive right in?
Nope, just stuff that we can talk about as we get into it.
Sweet. All right. Well, let's get right into it. So, we're starting with the first Hawkboy EP titled Hawkboy with track number 1, 2-bit.
Lover got caught in the rapture. Vanished right, vanished right. Lover got caught in the rapture. Vanished right, vanished right.
All right. Does anybody else think that this little intro part is LCD Sound System 8 Panic the Disco, pooped out Hello Goodbye, and they high-fived Interpol. Anybody?
That's pretty good. I like that.
I don't
so
know what
specific.
Anything else? What we got?
That was a real Kylan comparison. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real dancey. Electro. Got some electro pumping bass. I like that it goes with like a train beat though.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very cool.
To me, this felt the most like a continuation of, if not Hell or High Water in full, at least a continuation of what they were doing on like Capo.
For sure. Yeah. some
Capo
of
was the
electronic
bridge to
dancey
Hawkboy. Yeah.
elements.
Yeah. Like they had so much fun on Capo. They're like, let's do some more of this.
But then I love that that's juxtaposed within this like big organ hit and driving drums. They like take us to church. We're at like a dance club, and then we go back to church. It's
Yeah.
really fun. Sonic juxtaposition.
It's too late to go back to church though, because got caught up in the rapture.
Lover got
That's
caught
right.
up in there.
Yeah.
They're gone.
I mean, this is such a good opener. This is just such a fun song.
Well, immediately that like what we talked about on 84 Sheepdog, that like they fixed your brain when you were young, like instantly that's like a hook. That's like so memorable, so catchy. And then him starting with saying Lover got caught up in the rapture, like that's
Same
the same
thing.
kind of thing. Like
Absolutely.
just like boom, right
it really
there.
is.
Sticks
It
in your
just-
brain.
Yeah, it is so catchy. And then when he finally does, you get the payoff of, if you weren't such a bastard to like rhyme with rapture, like right before that like breakdown that we're listening to right now. Oh, it's so good.
And the way he delivers it is really fun too. 'Cause
It's so good.
got some like snarl to it.
Yeah, it's got a lot of attitude.
Yeah.
But not in like an over the top kind of way. Like, I don't know. That's one thing I was reminded of, like why I like Cody as a vocalist, is because he's emotive, but like not for a performative reason. Like he's emotive just very naturally, and this is a great example of that. And also call back to like the father figure stuff that has been a theme
Chekhov's daddy.
Oh
throughout
dang.
this whole
Didn't
record.
even think about that.
Chekhov's daddy
Spiel.
paying off.
Chekhov's daddy coming to full fruition here.
He's appeared up in what, Act 2, Act 3, now Act 4.
Now
Yep.
Act 4.
Yep.
This song
Commitment
is
to
just
the
so
bit.
fun. This is like my
It is.
perfect kind of song.
It has so
Because
much changes.
Yes.
So
Exactly.
many dynamic changes, beat changes.
But it stays with that hook,
Exactly. The hook
somehow
is the
it
glue
works.
that ties it in.
right?
And you get enough time to groove to each section. Because
Yes.
that's my big thing. Because I do like a lot of changes, but when there's too many changes, like with a lot of the like linear songs that we've talked
Yeah,
about,
we talked about that in the Christmas episode.
like when there's too much, like too many changes, like too fast, like I like to groove a little bit. You know what I mean? And I feel like each of the parts are kind of given enough space.
This gives you exactly what you want as far
Yeah.
as the length
Yeah,
of each
exactly.
section. I
Yeah.
dig that.
Yeah,
It's-
I wrote that it's still kind of like weird structure wise. Like I don't know what I would call a verse or a chorus,
Yeah.
but it has so much of that repeating. Like it doesn't matter because like you're like it's still like catchy and hooky enough. They've evolved so much from like the first record where you're like they just run through a song and there's like nothing, no hook that's present in it. Versus like now you're like, yeah, there's hooks, but I don't even know what I would call a verse or a chorus. But it,
Right.
it sticks with me. It doesn't matter.
Right. Yeah. It's less important because the song is just great.
It's just groovy, man. You're just grooving.
Also, does Cody seem angrier?
For sure. For sure.
Okay. Glad that wasn't just me.
I don't know how much I believe that he's actually angry or if he's almost playing a little bit of like a character on this.
I think Hawkboy is a character piece.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's his
We'll have
childish
to-
Gambino.
Could be. Yeah.
Dude, how great would a Childish Gambino and Hawkboy tour?
That would oddly make sense.
Right? It weirdly
I would love
would.
that. Oh man, yeah, that would be the best. I was gonna say I like the lyrics, like saying he seems angrier, like he's like angrier, but he's really smart angry. Like
Yeah.
there's like a lot of clever stuff like pushed into one little chunk, like the line where he says, "If you weren't such a bastard, you'd be better off. But now you're left to burn, gnash your teeth." And then I couldn't figure out this line. Do y'all know? Is it "No time to pass over" scene?
I
Anybody?
didn't know because he kind of like
I don't know.
the way he delivers it makes it hard to decipher.
Yes. Yeah, it's very kind of vague, but it almost feels like a Passover reference or something like.
Yeah.
And also being passed over like from the rapture, like you didn't get.
I mean,
you
it
weren't picked
probably
or whatever.
is. Like, just given the context of like the rest of his lyrical output, I wouldn't, I feel like that's a fairly safe assumption.
Yeah, and it feels
know
like
what I mean?
intentionally layered. It's like
Yes.
Passover, but also
Yep.
being passed over.
Passed over,
And
yeah.
then he says the thief at night thing. And then at
Yep.
the end, at the very end, instead of, he repeats that line, now you're left two, but then he doesn't sing the final line, the final word. He doesn't say burn. He just lets the instruments do their really like dissonant hit all at the
Yeah.
same time. And I love that when they establish an idea, like a lyrical theme or like it's a hook or something, and they like don't give it to you, but they replace it with something. So instead of
Right.
giving it to us vocally, it's like all these weird twangy instrument hits all at once. Like that's such an effective ending to a song, you know?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, and I feel like it really makes you think about like if you're this character or whatever that your lover got caught up in the rapture and you're like thinking about all this stuff, but then like the way it ends is like, but now you're left too, and you're like, and then you're like, oh man, like I am like, oh, what do I do? Like, and like I feel like it gives that immediacy of like just I'm gonna leave you with this question, and then like we're gone, and then now you're
Yes.
stuck with that, and you're like, oh,
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's I love that as like that's a great piece of writing if it does that
Yes.
to you.
And so,
Yeah.
clarifying question for at the very end of this series when we're doing our top 10 songs, are we doing just strictly As Cities Burn, or can we add Hawkboy into there? I don't remember what we said.
I said we could add Hawkboy in there if you want. I am
Okay.
planning to.
I might. Okay, good. Okay, good.
Yeah.
I mean,
song's
if there's
just-
a Hawkboy song or not that is in my top 10, we'll see.
we'll see.
We'll see. All right, we got anything else on 2-Bit?
Nope.
All right, let's
Loved
move
it.
right along to track number 2, Scoundrel.
You were born inside the city wall, born to be a wrecking ball, born politicians upon you were born to wreck it all, born to wreck it all. Now they got you up
Guys, this is in my top 10.
Oh,
This song
dang.
is so freaking good.
It's so good. Is this this intro? He's using a vocoder, right? He's not just harmonizing.
I believe so.
Sounds like
Because
it.
I kept going back and forth. I was like, oh, this is a sweet vocoder. And then I was like, well, is he just doing like harmonizing, but like really maybe like auto-tuned harmonies?
Yeah, I
But
don't
then,
know.
No, I think it is a vocoder. And if so, is that the very first vocoder that we've had on CJN?
I feel like
feel
there's
like
been a
we've-
vocoder before.
Yeah.
There has? Okay.
I remember something, but I couldn't place it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then let's just call it. This is the first vocoder that we've had on Church
That we
Jams
can't
now.
remember as of right now.
Yeah.
It's definitely one that sticks out in my memory. Like,
Yeah.
this was the song that before I listened to this EP, I remembered how it opened. That with the phasey, wobbly, like
Yeah.
stereo vocoder harmony thing. Like, and it's so, I don't know, resonant. Like it sticks in your mind. And it's like an intro before the actual intro of the song, which is the best.
Which can
Right.
we talk about how great this guitar riff is for the intro?
It's
Yes.
so good.
Like,
It's-
like it's so good. I love my favorite part is the second phrase of it where he has like that rhythm of the dun 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 dun, dun on like the low string. And like that's just like the control you have to hit that so cleanly and
Yes.
precisely.
Oh.
And while you're doing all this other stuff, it's so
Right.
good. I don't know how to play it, but like I was thinking about how it sounds, and it kind of is like similar, like reminiscent of like "Can't Stop" by Red Hot Chili Peppers in a way.
yeah.
Like where you're on the
okay.
low note, then you go up to like the bam,
Right.
bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
Like
The
it's kind
jumpy
of that kind of playing style, I think.
Yep. Also, guys, move out the way, Miley Cyrus. Cody's the original Wrecking Ball.
That's true. We beat her by what, 2, 3, 4 years?
Yeah.
Not much, but enough.
Enough
Enough.
to call it.
Enough. Yeah, this is like so just like fun.
Or maybe the
garage
song is
rock.
about Miley Cyrus. You were born to be a wrecking ball.
Ooh, the character is singing to Miley.
Yeah.
to Miley. Yeah.
Maybe it's like a lover, scorned lover.
His voice is the most Tom DeLonge in their entire discography on this song.
He's got like an affect kind of.
a little bit. He's got the kind of nasal.
soldier.
Yeah. Just to be a loner. It's because he holds out those lines, and he's doing this kind of nasally pop punk kind of thing.
And how does it
Which
work
he-
so well?
It
in this
does.
song?
It does. It should not.
Yeah.
But it does.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I even love it on the "Get Freight" refrain, when normally that's the kind of thing that would really bug me, to be honest.
Yeah.
For some reason, I just love it.
Guys, I just want to talk about every moment of the song and how good it is. Because, like, everything is, like, I love how, like, in the first chorus, it's kind of simple and you just have, like, a guitar and, like, two synths. And then, like, in the second chorus, there's, like, it's bigger. And then the third chorus, they, like, drop it down. And I love vocally whenever you, instead of going, like, more intense vocally, you, like, drop it down. And you get, like, he gets, like, more monotone, back to the born inside. Like,
Right.
he, instead of going higher and more intense with it, he, like, brings it down.
Mellows
But
it out.
somehow that kind of makes it more intense. Like there's a Norma Jean song that does it, and I absolutely love it when, because like that's not your initial reaction of like I want this to get even higher and bigger now.
Right.
Right,
But you take
right.
it down, and that's an even better move sometimes.
Yeah, it's kind of going back to the last song, like not singing the final word of the line. That withholding component is almost like it makes the listener lean in a little bit. You know?
Even more tantalizing.
Yeah, exactly. It's super effective. Also, that like angry saw synth, like the bass synth, is like the best.
Yeah.
Gives me goosebumps.
But I like, because I feel like he mixes it with like with the earlier part of the song. There, it's like real bass, but like overdriven. But then it goes into the like super like just synth bass, and it's, hey guys, it's some sweet bass. I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
Regardless of what instrument it's played on, it's some sweet freaking bass.
Even like a synth
Nice.
saw bass qualifies as sweet bass.
that might qualify as the sweetest of basses.
The saws,
I love a
basses.
good synth like saw bass.
I like that we have an example of a song that you can say objectively, like this counts as sweet bass, and it is a bass, like a synth bass.
Right.
That makes me really happy.
You know,
Now we can start getting categories of sweet bass too.
Ooh, yeah, under the umbrella.
We've got all of
the
our
greater
bops
umbrella.
and flops have subcategories. Now
Right,
we got
that's
more
true.
sweet bass subcategories.
that's true. Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, there. You know, the ways of sweet bass are many and varied.
My goal with this podcast is for everything that we make for it is to just get so specific. We're gonna just like insanely and annoyingly specific.
Right. Yeah. This is the best sweet bass in the key of E flat between 130 and 145 beats per minute.
Played on a cello, actually.
Yeah. That's so
Yeah.
funny, guys. I don't know what else to say. This song's just so good. This whole EP is freaking rad.
Y'all have your favorite songs favorite Hawkboy songs, right?
Yes.
Out of all 10.
How many
yeah.
favorites were we supposed to
cool.
have?
No, I was just thinking because like we could do it. You could do it either way. Where like this is my favorite from this EP. This is my favorite from this EP. Or you could just do favorite of all of them. So however you want to do it. I just want to make sure that we haven't got to either of y'all's.
Oh no, you got to. Oh yeah, no. 2 Bits the best. 2 Bits the best Hawkboy song.
Oh, 2-bit. Okay.
Yeah, it's just the best Hawkboy song. It's objectively my favorite.
Scoundrel would like a word with you, sir.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite.
TJ, we haven't got to yours.
It's very contentious, but
Cool.
I will say that 2-Bit is one of the contenders.
Oh man, I'm outnumbered here.
Yeah.
Okay,
But I
that's
love
good.
Scoundrel. It's
Okay,
so good.
I want us to all have different ones though. That
Cool.
makes for
Well, I
even
want
fun,
to. Yeah,
even more fun.
for sure. Cool. We got anything else about Scoundrel?
So good.
I know
love it.
it's like it's kind of it's
love it.
hard because it's like all just like so fun and groovy. It's rock and roll. What do you want? You know,
Yep.
like
It's true. Do we think being a wrecking ball is a good thing or a bad thing? I wanted to put that to y'all.
wait, being a wrecking ball, is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, in the context of this song specifically. We're not talking about the
Right,
poet
right.
of our age, Miley Cyrus.
I don't know because he does say go on and wreck it all. Like that's a good thing. Like he wants you to. I don't know.
Scoundrel's so good that.
But he also says you've been born a politician's pawn, which is like,
But maybe that's what they're
Maybe it's
supposed to
neither.
wreck.
Maybe it's neither good or bad. Maybe it's just like an objective statement. Like
I like that.
you were born a Pisces as well. I don't know.
How did you know? No, actually, I'm a Leo, but
Josh, what are you?
I have no idea.
Well, hold on. We got
October 9th.
October 9th.
I love that we're already getting tangential here.
You're a Libra.
I don't even know what that means.
I don't either.
Okay.
I'm a Sagittarius. I don't know what the fuck that means.
It sounds like a Roman congressional seat back in the day. He's been elected to High Council of the Sagittarius.
Oh, yes.
Well, to get back to Hawkboy, I like the. Okay, so I've noticed that they did with Hawkboy a kind of similar thing that we've noticed throughout the As Cities Burn discography as well. Two things: sequencing, freaking great at sequencing, and two, the songs all kind of build on each other. You know, whether lyrical content or title wise or musical ideas, because like I can't say specifically why, but I feel like the next track, Mother London, which we're about to jump into, the title Mother London coming after Scoundrel makes sense. Maybe I'm thinking of like Oliver Twist.
Yes.
Kind of
Scoundrel is a
thing,
very
and then
British, like
feels like a British,
Hey,
Yeah.
you scoundrel.
Scoundrel, right?
Come
so
back
then to
here.
go into Mother London, I feel like it
You
makes
can't
sense.
treat Mother London
and
like this.
and he's got 2-bit, and like
2 bits are like, are those like money, right?
yeah, exactly.
2
Like I
bits.
feel like it
Wow,
feels
is-
a little British.
Are we discovering that Hawkboy is a secret concept E EP?
I think it might be. I think it might be. Speaking of concepts, though, let's move on to Mother London because this was very fun for me. Here we go. Track 3. Munder London.
Mother Luthen?
You Munder Lunther. Track 3. Mother London.
I was a 7 son of a 7 son.
We get that like bluegrass skiffle drum going on.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I love the guitar tone in this intro. Hold on, I'm gonna back this up. I love it. Starts like real indie folk,
So dreamy.
kind of,
Yeah. It's like chill.
and then they like speed it up. Mm-hmm. But then it turns into this like, yeah, it's kind of bluegrassy, kind of like country blues. But the real feeling I got was that like new wave British invasion. Like this sounds like the Fratellis to me.
oh, yeah.
You guys ever listen to the Fratellis? Like it's
Yep.
that kind of
Yep.
like da 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 da. Like it's got that kind of
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, it also
And-
made me think of like kind of Delta Spirit. Like that, especially the intro. It is that kind of new, like kind of modern folk thing with the
Well, and then you get the tic tac bass of the 1-5-1-5.
Right.
The country
Yep.
bass.
Yep.
But yeah, it feels real British to me. British,
Also-
like British interpretation of like country blues.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's it. It also has like it has these distinct sections that are all kind of a different rhythmic feel. But kind of going back to what we've said in the past, it's like even if you can't name the sections or even if you don't know what they are, like they all just flow together so well and they work as like a linear creation. I know it kind of circles back, like because it picks back up after it slows down again. I love that there's so many sections that are like totally different rhythmically, and you're like,
Yeah, and
never
tempo
mad about it. Yeah.
Like, and they were just like right on with all the changes. You know.
Cody and
Yeah.
Lunsford, man. They can just
Yeah,
play.
They're
they play
dialed
together
in.
so well, man.
Yeah.
They can track each other so well.
I'm glad that
Match
you've
made.
added some context. I guess I do want to talk about that with Cody and Lunsford because like Cody just seems to be like one of those creatives. Like he's just like I don't know. I kind of equate him to like you, Kylan, of like how you just like are just coming up with like so much great stuff, and then you have to have Lunsford like someone who understands Cody's playing and how he's going to like make changes on the fly, or even just kind of like pin him down to be like, okay, cool, like. You have some song, like you have a lot of great ideas, but we need to like make songs out of these kind of things.
Right.
Lunsford
Yeah.
seems like that guy to
He's the
Cody.
guy,
He's like, yeah, Cody's ideas, man. Lunsford's like the let's get it done, let's
Right.
figure it out kind of thing.
Mr. Structure.
So if I'm Cody,
Yeah.
I would say both of y'all together in this equation are my Lunsford.
I'll be Aaron. Josh can be Lunsford.
Okay, cool.
Lunsford? Okay.
I'll just be. You can be Lunsford. I'll be Matt Goldman.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
I wanna be Matt
That's a
Goldman,
high
guys.
honor.
I know.
What
Right?
about Tyler Orr? Didn't
Oh,
Tyler
He did do
produce
this one. He
Yeah.
did, but I
Yeah.
won't be Matt Goldman.
Okay, fine.
No disrespect to Tyler. He did some great work.
Oh, yeah.
This is just a fun random aside, but in the breakdown of this song where it gets really loud and like kind of heavy, I was listening to the song again today, and my daughter was sitting next to me watching Max and Ruby, the Nickelodeon show,
Of course.
about two
As
bunnies.
one does.
And there was an episode where I wasn't paying attention. I was like listening to the song, going back over my notes. And on the TV, there's a scene where there was a little toy robot that kept going beep, 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 red alert, red alert, red alert. And I thought it was part of this song. Like it fit so perfectly and it wouldn't have been out of place. And so I was like, how did I miss this before? And then I paused it and realized it was still
You
going
thought
on.
it was actually part of the
So,
song. That's the best. Oh, man.
I think if they ever do a remix of it, they should add a
Yeah,
red alert,
the-
red alert, red alert.
that's good.
Max and
work.
Ruby sample.
That would really
mean-
add to the concept nature of it all. I feel like.
Yeah, right. Like
I'm
everybody's
glad-
kind of freaking out on the streets of
Right.
London.
Yeah.
Red alert.
I'm glad you kind of mentioned that supposed context to all that, Kylan, because and like with the sequencing, like you were talking about, because I've always been like, these lyrics are the most random left field from anything. Like all the things that Cody's done like make sense, but then I'm like, he's like, I'm gonna write this song called Mother London. I've always been like, this is so random. Like what?
No.
Right.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I have also just wondered what the hell this song is about or like why it's called this.
Yes.
I'm
Well,
just baffled. I looked
okay,
it up. There's a book. There's some book, but I don't know if that's actually
Yeah.
legit or not.
Well, okay. So this was actually a note that I had on the second EP, but this is a much better segue into this point. I don't know. I want to posit to you guys. Do you think because we've talked about before, like how on the last record, was it the last record or the one before that, Josh, you brought up? Like Cody would just like be in the studio all the time.
That was Hell or
like,
High Water.
and just like tweaking everything and like doing all this. So as someone who it seems like for him as an artist is like typically a very involved, almost perfectionist kind of like fiddler and tweaker.
Right.
I don't think he would appreciate me calling him a fiddler or a tweaker, but
Definitely not a tweaker.
but you guys know what I'm saying.
Yes.
I posit to you, do you think Hawkboy in general was almost a sort of like relief valve or like an experiment for Cody and Aaron in just kind of like letting things be?
100%.
Because that's kind of the vibe I got throughout both of these EPs. Like
Yep.
it seemed more about just like, hey, this is kind of fun. I have this idea. Let's like run with it, and then kind of just like let it be. You
Yep.
know, like it is what it is.
Yep.
I don't because
Less
yeah,
like critic energy, more like creator energy.
right. Like I think he wasn't thinking too hard about like what songs mean necessarily.
Yep.
You know, like that was just kind of the vibe I got, and I appreciated it. It seemed like a fun kind of. It was very vibe guy. I'm just like, I don't know if this means anything, but it sounds cool.
And to his credit, it doesn't mean that any of these songs are any less effective than any
Right,
of the
right.
stuff that we've covered so far, you know? But I think you're right. It's like Hawkboy sort of gave him the freedom and like liberation to kind of let loose a little bit, to experiment, to kind of rock a little more, to have fun in a way that maybe he felt a little pressure and so he couldn't do as much of on like an ACB record.
Right.
Yeah, I
Wouldn't
definitely
be surprised
think.
at all.
I think you're right about that because I'm going to talk about for the trivial trivia of this episode that after this he does an album with Chris Lott, a side project called Wall of Ears. Have you all ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, TJ. And so, like, the way I remember, I was on the Under Oath Farewell tour, and they were selling it at the ACB merch table, and I was like, oh, what's this? And they're like, oh, it's Cody's new, like, album that he worked on with Chris from ACB. And they're like, it's like very much of that mentality. Like, they just went in, like, going into the studio, and even, like, not even worrying about like if you mess up, like just recording it and letting it be what it is kind of thing. It seemed like that was like the ultimate, like we'll just record it as it is. If you mess up or if it's wrong or whatever, it's fine. But it's like
Right.
Hawkboy was getting to that point.
Right. Yeah. This seems like an interesting like precursor to that. Like
Yeah.
Definitely.
of kind of letting some of that control go. Just grooving, man.
I mean,
But that's the crazy thing is like I say all that, but this is also just like musically it's all so tight. It's like insane to me.
even if they're just messing around, it like
Right.
is so locked in.
Yeah, they probably still did it in just a couple takes. Like,
Right.
But they still felt the freedom to mix it up enough to put barbershop harmonies at the end of this song before a
yes.
Right.
blues jam.
Right.
Like who thinks of that? And also who pulls it off in such a perfect way? The best jazz band in Louisiana.
Louisiana's finest, Hawkboy. Yeah, so all of that to say, I don't know if this song necessarily means anything, and I don't know if it needs to. But
Yeah. It works with the concept that you're proposing.
one vibe guy's opinion, yeah. All right, we got anything else on Mother London? Gosh, we're just flying through this. Here we go. Track number 4, Damnesia.
Give you amnesia, rearrange the zeros and ones. Your brain is on repeat, but you don't ever see it through smoke and mirrors of your ego. But you're really free, though you're
Title wise, this goes with the other ones as well too. I feel like this is now like if the album's a narrative, this is like there's a rampage in Mother London and now you're stuck in an insane asylum or something.
Ooh. And it also, it's
Alright.
like if Mother London happened like during the day, then this definitely has the feeling of like the quiet night after.
ooh,
You know,
yes, definitely.
kind of haunting.
Yeah, this sounds really creepy.
Dark.
This intro.
Yeah. Also, I think this song could have been on Come Now Sleep.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
fits to me like sonically, at least of all the Hawkboy tunes. I think if I had to pick one to put on Come Now Sleep, it would be this one. There's just some of this ambient energy that I'm picking up on that I haven't
Yeah.
heard as much since Come Now Sleep.
Right. Well, and some of the guitar lines and stuff feel really like, yeah, very Come Now Sleep, some of the guitar tone and
Yeah,
stuff.
that kind of pulsing drum, the toms,
Yep.
like,
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense.
I thought this
And I
song was
love
too
it.
long.
I knew
But-
you would because it's almost 6 minutes.
yeah,
But see, the way that when they first originally released this as an EP, it was just the 4 songs. So this like closed out the EP.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I
that's
feel like,
right.
Yeah, it was. So I feel like that gives it a little more like excuse to go long, especially
Yeah.
with how like it
Fits
just
the
like
closer.
trails off
Yeah.
at the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and
makes
I'm
sense.
like torn between. I still kind of see it as the closer. I still, I guess, between seeing it as just track 4 and the next song being the last song of the EP, I see this more as like the closer and the next song is a
closer.
bonus track.
Yep.
Kind of thing.
Oh,
I like
yeah.
that. I like
Yeah.
that take.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's how I still kind of feel about it. In addition to that, this was originally listed on digital music and streaming as Damn Knees. Yeah, but all one word instead of Damnesia. It's like the 3 words of Damn Knees and YA. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
So yeah, it's still listed as that on SoundCloud.
Nice.
So,
Interesting.
But on all the physical releases, it's as Damnesia.
That's great.
See, that feels like such like a kind of like jokey title that I think supports my previously held theory of they just were kind of like screwing around, having
goofing
fun.
off a little bit.
I think
Yeah.
you're right.
But it
'Cause
also
it's
was
so,
like kind of genius. That's what's so great about it.
No, I've never thought about that as because I mean, you definitely have that with artists like their one work is like a response, like how they performed this album is a response to how they performed the last album, kind of thing. Like
Right.
Thrice's Beggars and as a response to the Alchemy Index is like just real raw and like just let loose. Like I've never thought about
Right.
that, but that makes total sense
Yeah.
with that in mind.
Yep. Also, lyrically, wanted to point out they're doing the thing where they call back to a previous theme,
Yeah.
like the "Get Free" part of "Scoundrel."
Oh,
Like It's like the character's saying, get free, but then now the character's like responding back to himself maybe, or like to somebody else, like, we got free. Like, we are really free now.
Right.
You know?
After they took over the monarchy of Mother London,
Right.
they are really free.
The scoundrels are free.
Dang, you guys are blowing my mind on stuff I listened to for so long. I'm like, I've never put that much thought into like, oh wow, that connects. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
This is why we do the podcast, man.
I'm sure we're making all this up. None of this
Right,
is
yeah,
real.
it's all completely speculative, but you know,
So is
I
art.
love it even more for that.
That is the beauty of this podcast is like we all have different perspectives on things, and you know, whether we find out that our friends put more thought into Hawkboy or that our favorite band in the world, Pillar, is absolutely terrible. You know, we learn things through this process.
Or if we are like, if we have our minds blown by somebody called Larry Norman for the first time
Right.
ever.
Or if no one else in the world likes Paper Root.
I knew it.
The band we've
We
never
all-
seen live.
Yeah. Or we learn that we've seen a band live before.
We find out about cashew poops. I mean, this podcast is
Hey,
myriad.
you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. All right.
Listen to Church Jams now. I feel like we just did an ad.
Yeah. The only place for Hawkboy podcast content.
All Chekhov's daddies welcome.
I like the little slapback delay thing that they do on his
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's so nice.
Yeah, and Josh, you kind of changed my perspective on this. Like thinking of this as the last track and the next one more like a bonus track makes me appreciate this a little
Yeah, you
more.
can kind of indulge with it. like,
Yeah.
allow it a little bit.
Yeah, I can vibe with it a little more.
It's still going as like the credits roll, so it can kind of be a little long.
Right.
Yep.
I also love that they choose to finish the phrase or like in the song without the phrase finished. Like it doesn't land back on the one or whatever it is.
I feel like that's a
Dun,
recurring
dun.
theme of this EP.
Yeah, exactly. They're staying consistent.
Dang.
I love it.
Callbacks left and right on this thing.
Tell you
I
what.
know. That's what we do. All right, here we go. Let's do the last track of this EP before we jump into the next one, because that's the order of the show.
That's how it works.
I said it like it was like all right, so we're gonna try this new thing, and I'm like, no, this is just
Thanks for
literally
I'm glad. It's
the
good
way
to
that
know.
shows.
You're keeping us on track, man. We appreciate it.
New year, new bit. I'm gonna keep us on track. Here we go. Track number 5, Irate Blues.
When it's quiet in the house of the old, you can hear through grinding teeth the clock's taking their toll. 'Cause time has a mind of its own, and like our sun spinning around, no, it won't slow for you now.
Are you irate, Kylan?
Well, I don't know.
I knew this would be fun.
So
Or
I like
he's trying to become a blues reviewer. He says, I rate
Rate
blues.
I rate
Blues.
blues.
Yeah.
Well said, Josh. Well said.
I don't know why it's just like irateblues.tumblr.com.
Can you check if that's available? I want that.
That should be the official Church Jams Now Tumblr
Website. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so I like this.
Okay.
This is very much a Kylan move, as you guys know. Like, hey, let's take a song that I've recorded before and just do a totally different version of it because I can.
And dropped one letter and call it a new song.
But right. I'm curious how you guys feel about this compared to the Hell or High Water version.
The original is better. Always will be.
Okay, good. I agree.
But I like that this is Cody covering Manchester Orchestra, covering As Cities Burn.
yeah, that is
Tell
kind
me
of
I'm wrong.
And this one fits more of the vibe of Hawkboy.
Definitely. It's like, I like that it exists because it's like, it's a little cheeky. They
Yeah.
feel a little buzzed maybe. And they're just like playing in the studio together. They're
Right.
like, oh yeah, let's try this. they're jamming
The
a
other
little
song
bit.
we did.
Just change it up a
Maybe,
little bit.
Like if we're talking about narrative structure, like we talk about how Capo seems to be the first Hawkboy song, but maybe maybe As Cities Burn ends with Daughter, and then it starts
Pirate
with
Blues.
Pirate Blues.
Yeah.
It really comes to fruition on Capo, and that's when they're
Right.
like, oh, let's do that now.
Let's
and that
do some more of
begins
this.
Hawkboy.
Yeah.
I dig that. And then
I
that
love
makes
this. I
this
love
a little
this
more
fictional
reflective.
Hawkboy history that we've created.
It's okay. We're the only podcast. No one can.
Yeah, that's
refute it.
true. We can say whatever we want. We say Cody was completely smashed when he recorded this.
I
That's
believe
what it
does.
said. That's what it says on Genius. And
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, I think you read that last time,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Oh,
TJ?
I think I made that up.
No,
No,
that's what
you're
it says
right.
on Genius. Oh my gosh.
On the
TJ was
original- on
completely
the original
smashed when
version.
he read that on Genius.
No, I thought you were talking about this song, and I was like, this is on Genius?
No.
The
'Cause I
Hell or
couldn't
High Water
find it.
version is.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
original.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Gosh, you guys, we've already lost it. We're gonna get so many
Yeah,
comments
we
about
are.
mangling facts.
Oh, gosh, we're
So
fat
many.
Can't remember.
manglers.
It may not seem like a long time. It's been a week between episodes for you, listener, but it's been a while. For us.
Right. Yeah.
I want to say I still like the Hell or High Water version. I still think it's better, I guess, but I do enjoy this, like hearing this version on, and I feel like it definitely fits. As
This fits
Hawkboy.
more the
Totally.
Hawkboy vibe. I love the instrumental jam / kind of solo that he does, like at the end. And hey, there's a sweet snare roll towards the end of this song.
That's true.
It's
Some good
so
Lunsford
good.
drums. This was the first time that I had noticed the bass on this EP. Like you were right that in, I think was it 2-bit, that there is some synth bass, like it is a bass played.
It was
that's
Scoundrel.
going through- Yeah, it was Scoundrel. Yeah,
Your favorite
But
song?
It was my favorite, but this was like the first time that I was like, oh, they're using more real bass than just
Right.
like synth bass.
Yeah.
I was kind of missing the sweet bass on this EP compared
Until
to Hell or
this
High Water. Yeah.
track. Yeah. I also wanted to say this feels that kind of like modern Brit thing again.
Yeah.
This feels very
Definitely.
like
For sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's like way more like British rock influence on this than I remembered.
Like Kaiser Chiefs, like like guitar tone and stuff.
Yep.
And it's kind of even just Beatles. Like
Right. Yeah, it's British interpretation of country western.
yep.
This is so good.
It's more like funky, you know?
Right.
It's like they're kind of just winking at the audience a little bit like we've
feel
had a
like
couple
I-
shiners.
Yeah. I like
Just
how
noodle.
I like how the guitar sounds a little sloppy. Like he's hitting all the right notes.
hitting
It just
everything.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
nailing
it
it.
just feels a little sloppy.
Yeah.
Like a
As
little
sloppy
bit
as
like
Cody can get, it's still like
careening
precise.
on the edge.
But
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he can only get so sloppy.
yeah,
He's just too skilled.
he can't turn off the talent completely.
Yeah.
Did you guys pick up on like the lyrics that he changed?
I was just gonna say that.
Ayo.
It's the second chorus, right? And that's
There's a couple ones. There's like
Okay.
a couple different lines that he says that are different.
yeah.
All right, hit us
I
with it.
wrote some of them down. In like the third verse in the original song, he said, "I've been pouring my heart up through the floorboards, but you don't live here no more." And then in this one, he says, "I've been pouring my heart up through the floorboards 164." And I'm like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
was
so
wondering
that brings
about
me
that
to my
too.
point of like, here's my list of movies that are 164 minutes long. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You should also do that though.
I would not have been
to keep
surprised
that going.
in the least.
Right.
If
No,
you
I didn't
had
even
that
catch that. So
You can do that after my credit reading. And
yeah, perfect.
My bedtime
That'll be my
credit
pop
reading.
culture connection.
Yep. TJ, were you gonna say the second chorus?
Yeah, the second
You got
chorus.
that one?
The Hell or High Water version is, "Oh, you want to catch an lens, color your green eyes, don't see just yet." This version is, "I want to find you a friend, but I keep making and breaking all my promises."
I like both of those too. Those are both
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, they are. Dang, it's almost like you want both.
You do, and that's why you
Luckily,
can have
both exist.
Yeah,
Have
I
your
didn't write
pirate
it down.
and eat your blues
and rate your blues.
and rate your blues.
He also changed. I didn't write these down. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry for my unprofessional
You should be. Wow.
nature. I didn't think we'd get this detailed with it. Listen,
I know what you were just.
song.
You were thinking we were just gonna like slide on in and
I know. I thought we'd just
And
like
not
casually
be
mention it, and people could just go on their merry way.
an encyclopedic compendium of all
comprehensive
things,
and encyclopedic.
comprehensive and encyclopedic compendium
Yep.
of all things Hawkboy.
No
the only
facts
place for
mangled.
Hawkboy content online.
I want to just admit now before everyone calls me on it that I forgot it was comprehensive for like the first like 2 episodes of it. And so I was like editing the first episode and I keep saying complete and encyclopedic. And now I just sound like an idiot instead of
You
being
do
like,
sound like an idiot.
wow, it's comprehensive. I listened
Get
to
it
that
right.
podcast. But anyways, the first 2 lines of verse 4 are changed on this one as well.
yeah.
So I like that there's like some variation between the 2 of them. Like that adds to like, it's a re-recording. They change up the style a little bit, how they recorded at least, and we'll also change some lyrics too to just differentiate it that much more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
dig
it
it.
makes the listener pay attention again, right? So
Okay, so at this point, should we do, I think we have 2 ways of going about this. We can either sort of talk generally what our thoughts about the first Hawkboy EP were, or we can jump right into King Folly and then kind of talk about both in context of each other. I don't know which way you guys want to go. I'm good with jumping right into EP2 and then kind of talking about all of it.
Yeah,
I'm down for that.
because then we
Kinda-
can compare
kinda
both
keeping
of them
that-
and
yeah, exactly.
talk about them
Yeah.
in context with
Sweet.
each other.
Okay, so now we're moving on to the second EP, King Folly.
Jumping forward a couple months.
Yeah, and with track number 1, Wide Road.
Gave you a nice wide road to watch you fall from the tightrope. Now take your sorries and stuff 'em. Same old story, changing nothing. Some like I was on my best.
okay, is this EP mastered louder than the self-titled?
Oh, I
It
don't
felt
know.
so much louder to me. Like I didn't change my
Oh,
volume
maybe.
from Irate Blues into Wide Road on King Folly, and it was like way louder on my
Interesting.
headphones.
I just
But
didn't know if that was just like production differences between Tyler Orr doing Hawkboy and Matt Goldman doing, because I feel like I definitely noticed it in the drums a lot.
especially
Yeah.
the drums.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, the drums feel a lot like the cymbals are a lot bigger.
Yeah, it
the
doesn't
snare's
feel like
huge.
as live and raw in the room as I think the Hawkboy EP did.
Right. Although it still does
Agreed.
very much have a very like garage rock
Yes,
vibe.
still
Totally.
definitely there. It's like the garage rock of like White Stripes recording Icky Thump, where you're like, we're garage rock, but we're recording this like Electric Lady, you know?
Yeah.
Right, right.
High fidelity.
They didn't actually record it there, as far as I know, but I don't know where they did.
I can't believe you don't know that. You're mangling facts left
I
and right.
don't. I am.
I thought this was
2023 Josh is
comprehensive.
just off the
I
rails.
know.
White Stripes series.
Yeah. The New Year, New Bit, Josh, is like unprepared. I don't know.
I just make references and have no validation to back them up.
Yeah,
That's
you
my
sound
new
like
bit.
me. You're me? That's your new bit?
That's it. Josh is Kylan. Welcome
You
to
were like,
2023.
you're like, I'm gonna hold it all together. I'm like, cool. He's got that. I'll be Kylan.
you got
I
the better
like
end of
being
the
me on
deal,
the
Josh.
podcast. Yeah, you just get to come in and be a chaos goblin and then
Oh, yeah.
leave and forget everything you said.
Oh man. So do we like the
so-
song?
You know, I don't know. To me, it's
You don't
weird
know?
to hear them after, especially in this series, like all of the Acid He's Burned that we've done kind of compressed like this. It's weird hearing just kind of like straight up rock and roll. Like I can tell that they had fun, but like this feels like the most like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus kind of vibe.
It is very straightforward song structure.
And I don't know how I feel about it. I kind of got used to the whole like linear song structure thing.
Changing things up.
I will say one thing that I found really, really, really interesting was at 2:30 on your the Mason started on your stone. That's like the most vocal flourish I've ever heard Cody do.
It's also a very like predictable line to do. Da, 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 da.
Right? Yeah, it was
And
like
he doesn't usually do those.
exactly like usually he's pretty straightforward in terms of his singing style, and this feels the most kind of like radio rock.
Yeah. I almost wonder too that like they do that warp delay echo thing on his voice immediately after that on the walk back through the minefield. Walk, 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 walk. I almost
Yeah.
wonder if they did that to kind of juxtapose or to kind of be like, nah, we're still edgy because it was like a really predictable line and he sings it
Right,
in this
right.
very typical kind of pop way. Like, all right, let's get weird again. Like, don't worry, we're still a weird band, y'all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I really like that effect that they threw on the voice.
Yeah. If I can mention a specific effect too, at 138, he has that lead line and it like almost like digitizes into just like sound.
Yes,
And I
yes.
love, like, I
I
don't know
love that
exactly
too.
how they do that, but I love how it comes across. It just
Yeah.
works so well.
It's like some kind of bit crusher sort of thing.
It's a fuzz into like a bit crush kind of sound.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's weird. I don't know exactly what it is.
But overall,
Chef's
I do
kiss.
really like.
Genius.
I do really like this song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You sounded like you're like, do we? Do I not? I really love how he changes the lyrics in each chorus of, because he says, I just want to know what's the kamikaze goal and why your hangman's already knotted a rope in the first chorus and why the mason's already started on your stone on the second chorus.
Right.
Yep.
And then the third chorus is why you can't be trusted alone. And like, I love how like, it's like the same thing, but like how he's like hangman in one, mason in the second one. Like, I love those. Those two are my favorite. How you get like different like people that are like in judgment or like finality.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't think about that. Look at you
Yeah, I
analyzing
thought
the
that was-
heck
yeah.
out of this, Josh.
He's
No,
back, y'all. He's back.
He's back. I just like, yeah, I just love like the way those lines are structured and written are just like, I love that stuff. Especially like kamikaze goal. Like that's a
Yeah,
great,
kamikaze goal is
a
really
weird but great like idea in line.
Yes, it is something nobody would ever put together in a million years.
Right.
But Cody did it.
Sweet. We got anything else on Wide Road?
I do want to talk about how going into the third chorus, they start building into it, and then they kind of, you guys could listen to it and like tell me if I'm right or wrong on this, but it feels like they build past like where you would hit on the chorus, so they hit at like a different place. So it
interesting.
makes it like it's a cool decision that makes it feel new, even though they're going into the same kind of thing. It's in the third chorus. It's like whenever they first get to it.
So coming up right here.
Yeah, there's a build into it, but then instead of hitting where you think they would, they like keep building for like another like half a measure, a measure.
Interesting.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, yeah,
It doesn't
yeah.
hit where you
Lunsford
think
kept
it would
building.
hit.
Because like like the real pop thing would be the hit on "You Are Free, to Go," but yeah, they do it on the phrase after. Yeah, that is interesting. I didn't catch
Yeah,
that.
I really love that.
I've
He's
always
back,
felt
baby.
that and been like, weird choice. And
Yeah, I like
never
it, though.
known
Yeah.
how I felt about it, but like that it's there because it challenges me. Like,
Yes.
even if I never land on either I like it or I don't, I love that it exists just to like trick my ear a little bit.
Yeah,
I love that you notice that.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
I'm a drummer this year, guys.
Yeah. new year, new bit, new Josh, new drummer.
New drums. I've been practicing on Willow's kit.
Oh, perfect.
Willow got your drum kit just for Christmas, and I just come over every now and then.
Just sneak over, don't say hi or anything, fly 2,000 miles to come play on my daughter's drum kit. It's weird as hell.
Nobody even knew you were there.
No one could hear me playing the drums. I also really like the outro of this song. It has like this other synth that comes in at 4 minutes and 7 seconds. And 4 minutes into the song, they're like, we'll put in a new synth part just to add like a cool little, so you don't get bored
New
in the
texture.
outro. Yeah.
Yeah, bold move, y'all.
Yeah. I love stuff like that.
I
And
like
then there's also claps in the outro, which kind of
Yeah.
calls for the claps. And so shout out to my wife, Allie. She's all about the claps too.
Nice. Yeah, I like the claps. They work.
Yeah.
I was kind of like at the end of the song, I was always like, I had a Kylan moment, I think, each time I listened to it, except for maybe the first, where I'm just like, all right, wrap it up. Like, this one for some reason just drags to me. But now that you're pointing out these new elements that like my ear caught but didn't like identify, I think I can appreciate the length of the song a little more because it
Well-
has that guitar like jam, like solo.
It is also the second longest Hawkboy song.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
it is pretty lengthy in terms of Hawkboy.
Right.
Well, okay, so my whole thing though is I don't know how much I like all those additions because I don't know how much of it is like, oh, we're gonna put this in to just because like it's really cool, or this song's really boring. Maybe we just need to like kind of start adding some stuff.
I think
to,
it was
like,
an afterthought of like after
to
they
like
recorded
try
it,
to keep it interesting.
Matt Goldman
Yeah.
and Cody were like, okay, we need to have some stuff here.
Yeah.
Right. Dress it up a little bit. Yeah.
But I do like it. Let's move on to track number 2. Gotta Get Out.
What's the poison you think when it's poison you speak?
This one to me feels the most like straightforward verse chorus song.
I wrote this might be the most forgettable song we've done in this entire series.
Ooh, really?
Yep.
wow.
It's
Tell
like
me
the
why.
most just kind of like standard. Yeah, like you were saying, like
It's
this could be
standard
any other
formula.
band. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing to me that really like screams.
Well, and I wrote that it's pretty straightforward guitar parts from Cody on here. There's nothing
Yeah,
that's like,
exactly.
like that's a Cody guitar part. Like,
right, exactly. Like every single part of this could be any other band doing this kind of like sort of like indie pop rock kind of thing.
I think
Yeah.
Lunsford does a good job of keeping it interesting. I think the drums definitely are carrying it to be from just being any other band.
I think that's why I've always liked this song. Not to say that it's my favorite at all, but I think the drums were enough to like keep my brain kind of hooked into the song.
Yeah.
Because they are really interesting patterns that he's doing. And especially against Cody's vocal choices, like the rhythmic choices that he's doing against Aaron's drumming is like, there's a lot of staggering and like kind of call response stuff happening. You're right. It's kind of, other than that, it's kind of straightforward.
Yeah.
It is very.
No nonsense.
Kylan, can you dislike a song that has a lyric that mentions a cigarette? Because that is
Exactly.
that is a Kylan Savage song bingo where you mention
man.
smoking or cigarettes,
true.
and
That's
he
true.
says, "Lit cigarette in your mouth."
Yeah.
So I feel like you gotta like it.
You would think so, but you know, I'm a multifaceted cinnamon roll of a man.
That you
You
are.
sure are, buddy.
It's funny. I just wrote a new song, and I specifically called that out. But the fun thing is, like, if you didn't know that we play Kylan Savage song bingo, like it fits in the context of the song. But I say like, put another dot on your bingo card every time that I start to talk about wanting to light up a cigarette again. But it fits within the rest of the song. So like
it's
you don't
meta
think about it like,
and
but
also
yeah,
within
exactly.
context. That's
yeah,
good.
it fits. That's great. I love that.
But yeah, I can like or dislike songs with cigarettes in them. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, maybe this is my favorite song. I don't know.
Okay,
You're just so
to
persuasive.
your point. To your point, this song has the least amount of notes from me. So, like, of things to write home about, if you will, like this has the least amount, but I still enjoy it.
Well, my other big note is the thing we already talked about. Like, does this whole thing sort of seem like an experiment in trying to just let things be for Cody and Aaron?
Yeah.
I got that vibe a lot more on this EP than the self-titled EP. This felt a lot more kind of straightforward rock and roll. We're not really going to think about it a whole lot.
Right. Now that we're on the second track of this EP, I gotta know, Kylan, is it a new concept? If the last one was like kind
I
of
think
the
so.
London, like the British,
I
like,
think
kinda
so.
Oliver Twist story, then what's this?
I can't quite put it together, but something about the song titles on this one feel of a piece as well. Wide Road, Gotta Get Out, Corpse Lips, Stained Glass, King Folly feels a little more like Shakespearean or like Victorian era than like modern city, but like you've got Mother London and King Folly feel like of a piece. Maybe because it's like Mother King, there's like a title before something. I don't know, but there's something here.
We'll
Yeah.
figure it out. We'll dig
We-
it out.
we will figure it out
Well, as
by
we
the
dig
end.
up this corpse.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to track number 3, Corpse Lips.
It's fruit of your tree. I feel it turning my belly. You am paying, but I have no other option than to keep kissing corpse lips. Since you turned into a swan, you've got all that you want. I'm still kissing corpse.
Before y'all say anything, I have only one note on this song, so I want to say it first, if that's okay.
Please.
Okay. You literally could put this song as is on Digital Ash and a Digital Urn, and my only question would be, who's that guy singing guest vocals at 1 minute? Because his voice sounds like Connor
Even
Oberst.
sounds like Connor Oberst. Wow.
The production sounds like
Completely
that, like
the Digital Ash
era
sound.
Bright
Yep.
Eyes.
Yep.
Like a little bit like moving past like Fevers and Mirrors into Digital Ash.
Yep.
The melody lines, all of it. Like I loved it. But it is so a Bright Eyes song.
Wow. I never put it together. Like I love this song and I like
Yes,
couldn't figure
okay.
out why.
That was my second thought.
Thank
Was
you
like
so
TJ's
much.
got to love this song
Yeah.
because it's a Bright Eyes song.
It really is. Yeah, the quaver, like the quivering.
He sounds like Connor
thing.
Oberst.
Yeah. Oh man. Maybe they're cousins.
Lips. Yeah, I've been kissing these corpse lips. Like the melodies even sound like Bright Eyes, and the production totally sounds like Bright Eyes. I love this song.
That's great. And it even goes to the like, is that like a ukulele later or something?
I think so. Yeah,
Which feels
it's all,
like
it's a Bright Eyes
move.
song.
Like that feels like an I'm wide awake thing.
Yeah.
You know?
There's like castanets.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
like the second chorus or something.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
That's a total.
If you put this on as a bonus track on
Oberst
Digital
move.
Ash, because there's one part, this right here, where the drums come in, where his voice sounds like Cody. But then he layers his voice right after it, and so it sounds like he's just singing guest vocals on a Bright Eyes song.
He sent it to Connor, and Connor sent it back, and he's like, "Okay, I guess I'll do it myself."
Yeah.
Right.
He's like, it's great, buddy, but I've got too many songs. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going solo. I'm working on something else now. Like,
Can't do it. It's like,
interesting.
fine. I'll put it on my King Folly EP.
everything from the vocal performance to the production to the melody, it all lyrically, it feels like Bright Eyes.
Yeah. And even the switch from this
Mm-hmm.
kind of cute like ukulele castanets thing to the like really heavy with the synth. Even that
Yeah.
feels like Bright
Yeah,
Eyes.
I
Now that
know.
you're saying it, I'm just
I
like,
know.
oh my god! Because I mentioned
just
that
blow
in my
your
notes.
mind, TJ?
You totally did. Because I mentioned that in my notes about like we go from ukulele castanets to like heavy and synth, and I love it. And now I know why.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Because
This
you
is
love
totally
Bright Eyes.
Digital Ash.
And this, and like when the drums do like the really tight snare on there, like yeah.
Yep. Oh man, that's crazy.
Dang.
This is my favorite song on the King Folly EP.
Oh, okay.
Really? See, as someone who has never really been into Bright Eyes, I've never really liked this song that much. So
Really?
I'll be the outlier here. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I'm just like it's a very well poignant and descriptive lyric of like kissing corpse lips, but maybe I've just always been like, oh, that's gross. Like, I don't like this song.
Is it too scary for you?
It's too scary for me,
Too
guys.
scary.
I also,
get
when
it,
I bought
buddy.
it off iTunes, my copy of it was all warbly and it's cut out, and I had to email iTunes support. But they got me a new copy. It was fine. So
No way.
I always remember that about this song. That this was like, and I had to like email them like, "Hi, my song, my file of corpse lips isn't working.
Did you feel
Can you
weird?
send me a new corpse lips, please? Like, if
Asking
this was
about
any other
corpse lips.
song, this would be fine. But maybe that was
so
just too
funny.
embarrassed to being like, I just talk about corpse lips too many times to some
Right.
person
Yeah.
who's like, what is this guy listening to?
You should have like put something else in there too, like the way they always talk about like if you have to buy like like tampons or condoms or something, you also buy like
Paper towels.
ice cream or toilet paper. So you're just like,
make
I
it
just
look
got
normal."
a bunch of random stuff. Who knows,
It's
man?
cool. It's just some corpse slips. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. There's 2-bit.
Like,
It's 2-bit.
my corpse slips and my
Corpse Lips and the A-Team
And my
theme
Jordan,
song.
my
Like-
my new Jordan Sparks song is also messed up too. Was she around? She was around this time, right?
I think so. I
Sure.
don't know.
Yeah.
That was such a Kylan pull. I loved it. Jordan Sparks.
Amazing.
Cool. Yeah. What else we got about Corpse Lips? I just cannot get over the fact that it's just straight up
It's
a
a
Bright
Bright
Eyes
Eyes
song.
song.
Like not
Yeah,
even like
me
a
neither.
cover of a Bright Eyes song.
Now that
It
you
is
said it, I can't unhear
fully-
it.
Yeah.
Like, it might as well just be like a bonus track on Digital Ash. Mm-hmm. I do really like the lyrics on this one. Like, they are super gross and super effective. Like, I eat the fruit of your tree and it, what is it, turns in your belly
Feel
or
it
whatever.
turn in my belly. Yeah.
And like, yeah, like Corpse Lips, you know, using it as some imagery for an experience with relationships or otherwise.
Even a damn fool has wisdom to keep his mouth closed.
Closed when kissing the corpse lips. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
It's effective. It paints a picture, man.
Oh, it
It's
does.
gnarly, but
It's not a great picture, but it paints it.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite picture, but it is,
But it is a
painted descriptively. Yes.
Yep.
I have to give it that.
Yeah.
I do like how things get real big at like 214, like you were talking about when everything gets real big with that synth, and like I do like that part.
yeah. Ooh, it just
Josh,
drops.
if you like that, let me tell you about this band from Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, yeah, you can call
who?
Bright Eyes.
They're called Lucha.
Shout out to
Yeah,
you.
it's a good one. It's a good one, y'all.
I will call back to this when we get to track 5.
Okay.
Oh,
Well, to get there, first we have to get to track number 4.
That's math.
Stained Glass. This is the way the show goes.
new year, new bit, same format.
Just in case
Yep.
you were wondering.
The new bit might be I might just start skipping around. Maybe the next album, I'm just gonna go. Here's track
It's
1.
like
Here's track 6.
We listen to albums on shuffle. Is our new bit.
Oh, man.
That'd be wild.
Ugh.
And then we talk about how bad the sequencing is.
Yeah, right.
We could do that.
Track 4, Stained Glass.
Broke a pane of stained glass. Cut your leg as you crawled through. But you came to take back what you gave in the church pew. Now you need the body for food. Every single body's been cruel, hanging on to dirty money, staring down.
This isn't my favorite song, but his voice is my favorite. His
I
vocal
love
performance on this song is my favorite of everything within these 2 EPs.
Wow.
Yeah. I get that.
No, I
You
dig
really
that.
feel it.
Yeah. Especially with that like soupy slapback delay
Yep, exactly.
that's
what I
like
was about to
warbling
say, yeah.
around, but then it cuts tight at the very end of each phrase, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's like
Well, and especially when you come off of like the layered version of Corpse Lips, like this feels a lot more just like open and out there and like kind of honest. Like
Yes.
you're just like,
Yeah.
yeah, sing it, Cody.
yeah, it's a very like intimate moment for the EP.
Well, then I like it because the production is like all really simple, but there's like
So good though.
there's all this like these like whooshing sounds and like all this ambient noise in the background that like fills it out. That like it gives it more of a feeling of like hearing it kind of live.
and it's called
and it
Stained
feels-
In a
Glass.
church pew.
So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're in this like Catholic Sistine Chapel or something like
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like piano in this that's really nice, but it's like super sparse.
yeah, it's very intentionally structured, like the instrumentation.
Yeah. And speaking of structure, they also like in line with the Hawkboy EP, like they bring it down at track 4 because like track
Yep.
4, Damnesia brings it down, and like Stained
Yep.
Glass brings it down
Same
too.
thing.
I really like this one a lot though.
Yeah.
It's very good.
I love the ooze that come in at 203.
This song felt the most like Band of Horses.
Oh yeah, totally.
I think it's that kind of like clean like arpeggiated guitar,
Yep.
like post Death Cab kind of like that kind of thing.
With some really confessional sounding vocals. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like a Ben Bridwell kind of thing to do.
Yeah.
Maybe if this is what the mountain goat sounded like, I would like them. This is what I wish the mountain goat sounded like based on their name.
Oh, okay. I was like, they sound nothing. Where's the connection here?
That's funny. No, I get it. No, Josh, I weirdly get exactly what you're saying.
I mean, I can
Like
see
I
it.
can
I could hear a
fully
band that sounded like this.
understand
called
and
the Mountain
relate
Goats.
to what you're saying. Yes. Unfortunately, you got to upgrade from goats to horses to get this kind of
that's fine.
sound.
The mountain horses, the band of
I
goats.
get it. I'm not a horse guy, so like I get it. I wish mountain goats sounded like this.
And then you upgrade from the horses to corpse lips.
Yeah. The mountain corpse lips. I don't know. All right, let's move on to track number 5.
Goat's lips.
Kylan,
Goats-
let's
goats
move on
lips
before you
now.
get into too much more folly.
Nice.
Track
Well done.
5, last track, King Folly.
King Folly, you crown so heavy. I am betting the price on your head. King Folly, your future's ugly. I've been feeling your boots for the rain. You're on dead ice with a heavy heart. You're on dead.
So TJ, if you said your favorite song was between 2-Bit and another song, and you have not mentioned that song yet, so I have to therefore assume it is King Folly.
That's a big assumption, Josh, but you are correct.
Oh,
King
ew.
Folly is the other fave of mine. And I like the poetry of it. Like it's like I love 2-Bit and then I love King Folly. It's like
Really?
the first and the last songs are kind of duking it out.
The bookends, nice.
Yeah, by the time you get to this one, I just kind of love it so much that I think I'm just going to commit to it. I think it's my fave.
Good. I want us all to have different favorite songs. I like
It's
that.
so rock and roll, and I love it. The drum performances are incredible.
Well, what's so interesting to
know.
me
I just think
is
it's
to hear
awesome.
you say that this is like your favorite, because I feel like of all the songs on both EPs, these lyrics are the most like kind of throwaway.
I disagree.
Because they don't have a ton of lyrics and they just repeat them a bunch of times.
I do. I will concede your point that it's very sparse lyricism, but I think it's super effective.
And I said, I don't know who King Folly is directed to, but the lyrics still feel like on the nose. And like, is that valid? Does that make sense? But yeah, I think the lyrics have always dragged this song down for me a little bit, but musically it rips. It's great. But I feel like, the lyrics kind of take me out of it a little bit. But it doesn't for you,
yeah,
TJ?
I feel like they only, like lyrically, they only have half a song to me.
I think I maybe drop into vibe guy mode on this one, and that's why I like it so much.
Okay.
Because I'm just kind of rocking with it. But I will say, I think another reason I like it is sort of in context to the rest of the EP, because I think it wraps everything up with a bow a little bit. Because as we've been talking about Hawkboy and King Folly as maybe concept EPs, I like your idea that the Hawkboy EP is like this kind of Oliver Twist London kind of vibe. It's almost like the peasant's perspective, or they're like running around with like the scum and the rats and the scoundrels. This then is sort of like turning it to the royalty. Like you've got a king, you've got the stained glass, like the opulent space.
Right.
You've got like corpse lips of maybe a bride, like the line in this song, the frozen bride that's like still kind of on the ice, but for how long? And it's almost like painting this picture of like how long can the royalty stay on top, kind of like almost from the peasant's perspective. So to me, this song kind of lands the plane a little bit, like thematically. And if
Right.
Hawkboy is like kind of about the peasant's experience in jolly old England, then like King Folly is like turning it toward the royalty and kind of
I like that a
investigating
lot.
that a little bit.
Yeah, that is
Because the corpse
interesting.
lips are the lips of the King Folly's bride. If that's what I was trying to.
Who's on thin ice?
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
I dig that.
And you know the wide road.
Scoundrel is
It's like what's it called when a royal person comes into town with their big like fanfare and all that.
Like a procession.
Procession, thank you. Yeah. They're coming down the wide road.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
I like it. No, I like that. That's a good.
I like
just
that.
like-
no, I'm just
Yeah,
processing
yeah,
this in my head. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm,
Me too.
Like
Yeah,
picturing
yeah.
it, I'm like, I like this now. Yeah, and I feel like maybe that even ties into like the artwork of it too. You know, like you kind of
yeah.
get the I don't know. I can't remember what they are in Marxism, where you have like the lower class and the bourgeois or something like. Which one, I remember which one's which.
Yeah.
We kind of got the lower class, the upper class kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. If
Little
I'm,
juxtaposition.
if I'm silent, I'm just thinking about that because I like it a lot.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was like, yeah. that
Well,
was-
I had a moment where I was like, does this make sense at all? Like, am I just like,
Yeah, no, it does. It totally makes sense to me. I love it.
yeah.
And yeah, as the guy that likes the narrative structure,
Right.
and I'm here for that
Yeah.
because I hadn't picked up on that, but yeah, that makes sense to me.
So that's why the song rules for me, is because it like kind of puts everything in its place.
Has this always been like one of your favorites?
Yeah, I think so. Because like, especially the way it opens, like that King Folly, tuku tuku pa, like that kind of vocal to drum moment is so like, it's like seared into my brain. It's so hooky to me that when I thought about this EP, like I think I mentioned the track on the Hawkboy EP that it was like seared into my brain. This is the one for this EP that really just like stuck with me.
Yeah, and I definitely, when I think of the King Fall EP, like I think of this song. I don't think
Yep.
of like Wide Road or like any of the other
Right.
ones. Like you think of this one first. Obviously, it's the title track, but
Right.
because it starts off very memorably.
Yep. It's interesting because like I almost want to flip it and put King Folly first and move Wide Road to the end. But I think thematically
interesting.
it's not as effective.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
the king is like the
for sure.
end.
You kind of need this at
Yeah.
the end, yeah.
But sonically it
I
would
like
be
that.
cool as an opener.
Cool.
No, I like that.
I will tell you what, Cody knows how to sequence an album, even an EP,
Yep.
man.
Very true.
Both of these, they kind of mirror each other structure-wise, but they also complement each other really well.
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, do you think, because these came out like within 5-6 months of each other, so they're written and recorded right around the same time. Like, do you like them better as EPs, or do you think they could have worked as a record? And if so, like in this order kind of thing, or like would it be better that way?
I tried to think of like an alternate track list, but that ultimately felt a little useless. Like, I don't know. I kind of like them how they are.
Right.
As separate works though, that kind of mirror each other.
No, I think they complement each other, but I like that they're kind of two separate things because they do have two different vibes. I prefer the self-titled, but the reason I prefer that, like, I don't know, I do feel like King Folly is a more complete work,
Yes.
but the self-titled feels the most like ACB B-sides.
yeah. The components of that band
You
that
know what I mean?
liked so much.
Yeah, it felt it felt a little less complete. It felt definitely more just like an EP of perhaps like here's some bonus stuff. Whereas King Folly did, even though I didn't enjoy it as much, it did feel like more of a complete work.
Cohesive. Yeah.
No, I totally
Yeah.
get that because I've always liked the Hawkboy EP more, and I think the highs are higher on the Hawkboy EP.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Agree.
like overall, the King Folly is more like put together and like it runs together. Like, and I liked the first one, and I always like viewed King Folly as a lot lesser. But listening through it this time, like really brought my appreciation for that whole EP up more. And it like, and I think the problem is like Hawkboy EP has songs I really like, whereas King Folly has like parts and songs I like a lot of like. I like the parts of songs more than the songs themselves, kind of thing.
Interesting. Yeah.
So that's kind of has been my takeaway, but definitely like spending more time with this has improved that, and I do think a lot more fondly of King Folly.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Some stats: King Folly is 4 minutes shorter than Hawkboy.
Oh.
So
Only 4 minutes.
I feel like 4 minutes is a lot when you've got the same amount of songs. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true. When
5
it's an EP,
songs,
yeah.
a piece.
There was no Sweet Sweet Bass on the King Folly EP, was there, Kylan?
Nothing that stood out to me.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
I can see that. I feel like the songs on the Hawkboy EP are like stronger overall and give they provide
Right.
room for that sweet
Yeah,
bass.
that's kind of what I'm saying. Like I like the songs on Hawkboy more, but I like the fact that King Folly is a cohesive
Right.
thing just as much. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where I land on it
TJ,
all,
do
though.
you? Which one do you like more? Did you say?
I'd probably have to pick Hawkboy too if I had to pick between the
Hawkboy 2, King
Hawkboy
Folly.
2.
Hawkboy 2.
Hawkboy.
The sequel.
Hawkboys 2 Men.
Hawkboys to Men.
No, the first EP, the self-titled. Overall.
Yeah.
And that's why like King Folly and 2-Bit are kind of just duking it out for my favorite track.
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Well, we did it. That's it. The end of the episode.
Bye.
Or is it?
Oh, psych.
We got more bonus stuff coming up. So yeah, I think that was our Hawkboy conversation, right?
That was it.
We hawked, boy.
Boy! My son, my hawk son, I loved you.
Screw you, Dad. Get out of here.
You know what? You were born
is a
a
paraboy?
wrecking ball. Born inside the city walls.
Born inside the city walls.
I'm irate.
if we want to jump ahead, we'll go forward a couple more years, a little less than 4 years. These songs came out, I don't think I mentioned this in the research, but these songs came out to promote their 10-year anniversary tour of Son I Loved You. So these came out in the summer of 2015 as they were preparing for that 10-year anniversary tour.
Sweet. So which one do we want to do first?
Prince of Planet Earth came out first. On YouTube, it came out on June 1st of 2015. And then Goldmine came out
Okay.
July 1st.
Well, let's do Prince of Planet Earth first.
Let's do it.
Going back into ACB land.
Boy, are we.
Here we go. Prince of Planet Earth.
First things first! First world
Is this an ACV song or is this Silk Sonic?
I think this intro is so funny.
Is this a Daft Punk song?
It felt like a whole it felt like a send up of like pop radio rock.
Yeah.
Like with that little filter that
That's what I'm saying.
and the guitar sounds like going back to, America's favorite wrecking ball, Miley Cyrus. That guitar intro almost felt like Party in the USA.
it feels
Oh,
like
yeah.
pop radio.
Dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun. But like why? Like it feels like they just thought this was really funny.
But then they keep some of that guitar throughout the song. Like,
Oh, and then right here, there's a snap right when it drops. Like, what is that? What is this intro?
all right,
This whole song is kind of like this.
yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and like play my cards on these two songs. I think they like threw everything at the wall. Like they were like everything but the kitchen sink on these songs. Let's go.
Like
crazy.
TJ's back. Let's do everything. Like,
Exactly. And I don't know if it works. I don't know if I like it.
don't think it does on this song for me.
Because TJ's back and it's cool, but it's like, it feels, I don't know, messy, kind of. It's complicated. It's like too complicated for the ear to follow.
Well, and
for
we
me
talked about this on
personally.
other things. Yeah, it like this song doesn't seem like it knows what it is.
No.
Like they're just trying to do everything with it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Like a lot
it's
of the
one-
guitar licks feel like stuff Cody did on Hell or High Water, or, maybe some of the rockier stuff on Son I Loved You. But like,
Yeah.
a lot of the other elements feel very like metal.
Yeah, like okay, so for me, it feels like they were trying to go for the radio single sound,
Yes.
but like at a certain point they could only go so far with it cuz like I think this song is like super terrible. Like when I think about it, I'm like, is this the worst ACB song? But then I listen to it and there's still parts of it that I do enjoy.
Yeah.
So I think like they were going full on sellout radio rock, but their talent took over and didn't let them fully commit.
Ooh, that's good.
If only Under Oath had the same experience when making Erase Me.
Yeah, dude, Erase Me
Ooh,
is
shots
rough.
fired, Josh. Shots
I'll
fired.
say it all day.
It is rough. No, I remember. I remember when Erase Me came out, and I was so excited. I was going to Japan, and I remember texting Josh from the airport because I was listening to it. And then I was just like, I remember that morning I was like, dude, downloaded Erase Me, gonna listen on this flight to Japan. I started listening in the airport and I was like, what the fuck is this?
I have the screenshot of it. It was the perfect thing. I had like just put on the record. I'm like 30 seconds to 90 seconds into the first song, and I get a text from Kyle that says, dude, screw this new Under Oath record. And
So
I
basically-
screenshotted it because it was just the perfect moment.
So basically, what we're saying is Prince of Planet Earth is the best song on Erase Me.
It is, yeah.
Maybe.
Well, it predates Erase Me,
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
it's rough.
Like, what are they thinking?
Well,
on
at the
this?
end, they do that punk beat, and it's like, come back, kid, but not. It's like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, do they know what they're doing?
either.
I don't think they do.
Probably not.
I don't think they do. The lyrics are pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like, they're pretty cringy in this one. The one part, we're going to talk a lot of trash. I will say, I like the interpolation, again, calling back to kind of what we talked about on Dust From My Lips by Yours, My Sin Is Purged, whatever that one is. The first track on Son, I Loved You, is that they do the interpolation of when the Saints go marching in of like, oh, how I want to be in that number, just not when Saints lose heads. And I love that, like taking that, but then like turning it on its head, if you will, of like, then turning like, oh, you want to be in the number, but not when like the bad stuff happens. And then at the same time, there's like a sweet guitar lick happening. So like, that's like the saving grace of this song for me.
Yeah.
And there are some other cool moments and like the elements I like, but overall it's
kind of a
pretty
failure.
messy.
Yeah. I don't think it works, man. Which bums me out, but, you know.
Especially if this is the first song, like you're like TJ's back, ACB's back together, and then like they come out with this and you're like, oh,
What?
what's happening here, guys?
Yeah. And for me, as a big
Yeah.
Hawkboy fan, like when those EPs came out, then hearing this, like a handful of years later, it's like, what happened? Like, I don't know. It just threw
Right.
me for a loop, man. I think I've only heard these songs maybe like twice and before now, like listening for this.
I had never
episode.
heard him.
You never had? I love that.
I had never heard him
With
until
completely
this
fresh
episode.
ears.
Yeah. I cracked up through all of Prince of Planet Earth because it felt like a joke.
It does.
Like it
Musically and
literally-
lyrically? Or one more than
it
the
felt
other?
like a joke. Kind of mostly like the production. The production, it felt
Is
like
that the weakest part for you?
Yeah, it feels like I initially like I thought it was a joke, making fun of like pop rock, like radio rock. But I don't know.
It's like it doesn't even know if it's a joke or if it's trying to be serious. I don't know.
Yeah, but maybe we'll get some clarity if we move on to our second
Sure we will.
ACB single.
Goldman. Matt Goldman.
Goldman.
Wait, what?
I wish. It's in honor of him.
Goldman.
I talked about that these were produced by, it's credited as Jay Hall, who I have no idea who Jay Hall is. So this is like the only work in ACB's discography that has not been produced by Matt Goldman or Tyler or Prince Point.
This song is so much better.
So much better.
It is better.
This one felt like this is what they should have just come out with, of like our reunion with TJ, like because it starts kind of the way you'd expect, like an ACB song, like post Hell or High Water, like with Cody's vocal coming in, and then TJ's vocal comes in like pretty like harsh in the mix. And then the guitars go to this kind of like very post-hardcore, very like "Son, I Loved You" kind of guitar line. But everything's like slowed down a little bit. It feels a little more mature. Like this feels like a reunion song.
And we still have some of those hooky vocals, like that we've come to know and love.
Yeah. And then there's the crazy, like, fun, like, arpeggiated synth.
Oh, I love that.
Like, towards
Yeah.
the end, like...
But I feel like it
Like, I love
it's like
that.
a new introduction, a new addition to their sound, but I think it fits. Whereas like in
Right.
Prince of Planet Earth, they're just doing a lot of new stuff that like doesn't work. I totally think that arpeggiated synth works.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so good. This song's really good.
Here's how I described it listening to these two songs. Because I actually did Goldmine, Prince of Planet Earth, and Goldmine, Prince of Planet Earth. And it was like, I don't know how I feel about this on the first listen of Goldmine. Prince of Planet Earth, I was like, nope, Nope. Second listen to Goldmine, I was like, it's like when you look at those optical illusion pictures that have a bunch of dot patterns and you're trying to find like a hidden image, you know? It was like finally I turned the picture right, or I like turned my eyes right so I could see the image. That was my second listen of Goldmine. And then I lost it again as soon as I put Prince of Planet Earth back on.
Was it just because you heard Prince of Planet Earth that it automatically made Goldmine sound so much better?
It might have been comparative. Yeah. It could have, that could have weighed in. I don't know. But I did like this one a lot better.
Yeah.
I listened to Goldmine before Prince of Planet Earth. And yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more.
Yes,
Yeah, it
definitely.
works.
Especially if it came out second, so you're like a little more relieved. Like, okay, good. ACB's not totally like off the rails, and like you can have one weird song as you're coming back figuring out your sound.
Right.
But like
Right.
the whole like last 2 minutes of this song are like I don't know, if I could take these top 2 minutes out, like this could be in my top 10 ACB. Like this is
wow.
a great moment in ACB's discography in my mind.
Just those 2 minutes.
Yeah, I love the lines of "show me what to close my mind around," and then how TJ is kind of like doing his kind of call and response vocals to what
Right.
Cody's saying. You get the synth in there. You get some sweet Lunsford drums. It's like building. The energy's just like keeps going up and up and up.
Yep.
Like I love how the song ends, and like to me, the beginning of this song leading up to it is just all just to get to this part, and that's
Right.
what the meat
Yep.
of this song is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I will say I didn't know because there's no credits on the Bandcamp version, but looked up the YouTube lyric videos for them, and then it does have pictures of Chris Lott and Colin Kimball with them. So this is like the lineup, the same lineup as, well, I guess it wouldn't have ever been this lineup because Chris was never in the band when TJ was. So the
Right.
first time TJ and Chris have been in the band at the same time.
Together. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it was fun seeing them. I couldn't remember because I remember on the tour, I think Stephen Keach was playing bass for them, but there was 1 or 2 songs that Colin Kimball came out and played bass with them. But I think Keach was playing bass on that tour, if I remember correctly.
Nice. Dig it.
Well, guys, we're almost done. We're almost done with our As Cities Burn miniseries.
We're rounding the
Yeah.
bend.
We took a little tangent into Hawkboy Town and circled back through Goldmine Drive.
It was a wide
That sounds
road,
like
and then
yeah, travel down the wide road. So do we have any final thoughts on Hawkboy / these ACB singles?
I just want to say like a little peek behind the pop filter because like I was really torn between like where do we put these two ACB songs? Like, do we include that like ACB's back? And do we do these two and Scream Through the Walls? But I like putting them all kind of like in the weird in-between time between Hell or High,
Yeah.
between the
Yeah.
proper third and fourth LP of like,
Yep.
you have Hawkboy
Right.
and the 2 singles that have never been publicly released. They're not even on streaming. They're still on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Listen to them there, buy them there. But I don't know. Weird that ACB hasn't put them up on streaming because maybe they're like, those were kind of experiments. And I heard Lunsford say or saw him say that they tried to work with the songs and like develop them into fitting them onto Scream Through the Walls, or at least one of them. I would guess Goldmine, but it just didn't really work. So that's why they are only just singles. They weren't ever on a proper release.
And I'll say I'm glad we did it this way, especially because it's kind of priming me, I think, for Scream Through the Walls. And it's like I'm curious to see if they went like when we go back to that album, I'm curious to see if it is gonna feel like they're just throwing stuff at the walls without any plan or purpose or intentionality, or if they like really land it, because it could work.
Or if this was just kind of like these 2 singles are like kind of priming the pump of like, all right, let's kind of
Work out the kinks.
get back into
Yeah.
this mode.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that.
Me too.
Well, I think that's it for this episode. So we'll see you next time when we cover our last As Cities Burn album, Scream Through the Walls. In the meantime, if you enjoy this, check out our Patreon, patreon.com/ChurchJamsNowPodcast, as well as follow us on social media. We got lots of fun things going on there. Church Jams Now on everything, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, May all your favorite bands stay together, and peace out, Monfers.
Hawkboy credits. Hawkboy is Cody Bonnette and Aaron Lunsford. Pirate Blues, written by Hawkboy and As Cities Burn. Are You the Man Now? ASCAP and Thirsty Moon River ASCAP. Produced and engineered by Tyler Orr at First Street Studio in Cleveland, Tennessee. Mixed by Matthew McClellan at Glow in the Dark Studios in Atlanta, Georgia. Guitar, bass, and vocals, Cody Bonnette. Drums and percussion, Aaron Lunsford. Additional production and engineering by Cody Bonnette on synth and bass tracks. Executive producer, Christopher Garman. All songs written and performed by Hawkboy. Copyright 2011, Regenerate Music Company. All rights reserved. Cover art by Tyler Schwint. Layout by Jonathan Cottrell. King Folly credits. Hawkboy is Cody Bonnette and Aaron Lunsford. Produced, engineered, and mixed by Matt Goldman at Glow in the Dark Studios in Atlanta, Georgia. Guitar and vocals, Cody Bonnette. Drums and percussion, Aaron Lunsford. Piano and other noises, Matt Goldman. Additional engineering by Matthew McClellan. Executive producer, Christopher Garman. All songs written and performed by Hawkboy. Copyright 2011, Regenerate Music Company. All rights reserved. Cover art by Tyler Schwint. Layout by Jonathan Cottrell.